Do you understand on an emotional level that you cannot possibly meet all of the intentions that you create? Nobody can. I am Tavish Cardiff. It is our Raw Materials Intention Week, the 9th week of the practice, and let's talk about the intention pillar. Right off the bat, the idea of intention is thrown around a lot right now. We are all creating intention lists of the things that we want, and it's attached to manifesting, and it's a buzzword right now, so it's easy to grab and talk about. There's also intention when we talk about what somebody else thinks or feels or wants, or what we think or feel or want, especially when there are misinterpretations. Then we get down to what was somebody's intention. So intention is floating around in our vernacular all over the place, but do we ever really stop to think about the root of it? What did this person really mean? And when we think about the intentions that fire off within our body all day long, every day, how many of them are we really going to be able to connect to? We read something that bothers us. All of a sudden, we have a string of ideas of how to address it, fix it, handle it. And unless it's something really important to us, most of those will go completely unmet. They're just ideas. Later on, when somebody mentions that subject, we call up all of our unmet intentions and we're like, oh, wait, I meant to do that. I wanted to do that. I said I was going to do that. And then in some ways, we judge ourselves for the intentions that we haven't met. Taking the time to understand how big the space of intentions is helps us to, first of all, clear the deck of any of the intentions that are hanging around that are just bothering us because we're not really going to do them anyway. And allow us the space to breathe for the intentions that we want, so that when we get to the aligning with intentions pillar, we are bringing the things that we're emotional about that we're also passionate about. So we've got to have a little fuel behind our fire to meet intentions. The intentions themselves are strictly emotional, unless they're met by something else. The emotional weeks, this would be the last of the emotional weeks in the practice. So we start with mentors, then we move to emotion, and here we are at intention. In the mentors pillar, we examine where our belief structure came from. Who are the people that shaped how we think and therefore how we feel about certain things? Our reactions to what they believed help shape our initial emotional makeup. So we go through music, food, ignorance, we get back to the emotional week of emotion. And we can see that those first four, the rawest of the raw material, bring us the stuff that creates our emotional reactions. So it's these four later weeks that we do is the arena for our reacting. All of the things that happen that make us want to do something, but those first four really set the stage for how we are going to react, or how we are programmed or trained to react. And, also good place to say, we can set an intention to change the way that we react at any time, and we can retrain ourselves, and we can come to a different understanding with our own reactions if we aren't comfortable with them, or if we aren't happy with them. Especially when we find ourselves disappointed over and over by our unmet intentions. What that tells me is that we really haven't taken the time to realize how many intentions we have met. And as long as, I'm trying to address here situations where we're getting basic needs met. You're getting up, you're getting to work, you're brushing your teeth, you're getting dressed, you're taking a shower, you're doing the things that are the bare minimum. You're barest of the bare minimum. So if you're struggling at that level, that's a little beyond intention. Intention isn't going to really help you muster what you need. You're going to have to grab a couple of the other pillars and put that together to work through that. What I'm specifically addressing is those things that we say we're going to do. They're one-offs until somebody brings them up, and then all of a sudden, or we are reminded of them, then all of a sudden we are judge and jury on ourselves for what we haven't done. Most of my high achieving friends have some degree of that even still when they've reached the point in their career where they can sit back and answer questions because people come to them for answers. They're still second guessing the things that they didn't get done. And if I point them back to the list that they did get done, they're always amazed by just that simple little glance in a different direction changes how you feel about what you thought was something you were disappointed in. So clearing the deck and making the space for our intentions to find passion and thrive. That's what Intention Week is all about. In Intention Week, we get the opportunity to let ourselves off the hook for the things we haven't done. Lay down the sword, lay down the gauntlet, and breathe into the space that is now available when you realize, oh, that didn't really fit my values. That really didn't fit my schedule. That really didn't fit what I was trying to get done because there's a whole host of other things that fit in that space. When we back up and take a look from there, we can start crossing off these things, these tiny little microaggressions at ourselves of judgment for not doing things that, let's be honest, weren't going to get done. And the more we hold ourselves to those things, the more we tie ourselves to expectations that are not only unfair, but they keep us from true joy, true passion, true creativity, and happiness. That doesn't mean don't set intentions. It is kind of a cool exercise to be recognizing what you want in real time, to always be evaluating what it is in your day that's important and what it is that you want to accomplish. Because if you make a list of what you want to accomplish, at the end of the day, you look at what you didn't, you kind of organize your time and see where you used your values list to fuel what you're going to do. You start to see a place to let yourself be happy and free and joyful. You don't hold yourself to this crazy standard that has you somehow in your mind doing way more than you could possibly do, or anyone, honestly. So be kind and be fair to yourself in Intention Week. It is emotional, and we need to take care of our feelings. We need to spend time realizing what we do want. I think we're all pretty good at knowing what we don't want. And when we dismiss in the moment everything that we don't want and everything that we don't like, we miss the opportunities to actually create the next step, which is what do you want? So use Intention Week to move yourself around within all of the things you want and see which ones really have value, which ones you really want to take on or mess around with, and which ones you know are going to wait until a later date. It's really nice to label them that way so that when you see yourself feeling like you should have done something, you say, oh no, that's on my spring list. You can let it go. As a funny aside, I was flipping through a notebook today and I found a cleaning list for my house. And one of the things on the list was cleaning my rugs. And I know that the list was from last year, and I know that the rugs have not been professionally cleaned since last year. So there you go. Here's one I've pushed out for a year, and now I'm like, okay, I better attach to that intention. It's expensive. I don't really want to do it. I don't want to spend the money, but it's time. Because while I was writing a different list yesterday, I wrote down clean the rugs again. So it's on my mind, it's there. And now, maybe in the next 2 weeks, I'll find the time to attach to it. But those are the kinds of things I'm talking about. Just pay attention to where you hold yourself in relation to these things. Because if I had spent the last year being mad at myself for not getting rugs cleaned that I intended to clean a year ago, it could have been a bad year. I can let myself get way down about cleaning stuff, which is my own emotional issue and doesn't serve or help me or anyone around me. If I have time to clean, I do it. That's a fact. If things aren't clean, I didn't have time. And if I try to make any other thing be true, I'm creating all kinds of problems for myself, and they're emotional. So, practice guidance for this week. Observe your thoughts, feelings, beliefs, words around intentions, and just pay close attention to how often you claim something that and whether or not it's going to actually wind up on your intention list. Just watch yourself think through what you're going to do or what you want to do, and check out how many times that actually matches up to something that you can do. This little observation exercise is really fun, and it will teach you a lot about yourself and your own reactions. Because when we start to live passionately in our creativity, we've got to clear the way for some of the things that hold us back. Intention Week is a good start. Clear the emotions that hold you back that you don't even realize are creating problems. This part's easy. They're simple. Just untie them and push them away. I will see you next week for resources. We figure out how to line up the things between what we want and getting what we want. See you next week.